All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And real briefly, I want to go into, another lesson, and Lord willing, this do be edifying. Now, out here in Houston, we just got finished with our officers meeting. And, we have our, what we talk about our camp business. And, the Elder Taza Pa, he always there. And one thing he said today, with the, the last remarks, so to speak, to end off the meeting, he went into Isaiah, the 9th chapter, in which I'm going to get that precept here in a few. I'm just pulling over, getting off the road. I want to do this lesson. It's on my spirit. So just to line back off what the Elder Taza Pa said, because that's exactly what's happening right now, whether people believe it or not. You see whether people believe it or not. And what's happening? That the kingdom of heaven is being built right now as we speak. It's being built right now as we speak. Now, one may say, well, what you mean by that? Because the Lord in here, according to the scriptures, the kingdom of heaven, when that's going to be set up on earth, that's when Yahweh Shai going to be here. And which that is true, When, Yahweh Shai come, then that will begin the physical building of the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. But the point of the Taza Pa made is in Isaiah, the 9th chapter, and I'm going to go ahead and get that in a few. Well, right here. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. But it goes into Yahweh Shai that when he come back, he going to order and establish his kingdom. And the point the elder made in and of the officers mean is that the day brothers get beamed up, that ain't just go, that won't be the first beginning of ordering the government of the Yahweh Shai's kingdom, which the government of Yahweh Shai's kingdom is the prophets, the 144,000. And the point the elder made was that when we get, Lord willing, with a number, but when, Lord willing, we get beamed up, that won't be the first beginning of setting up the government. No, it's already being formed now. While we're on earth, it's being formed now. Brothers being made into judges. Like it said in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, how we come into the congregation of just men made perfect. We've been made judges. We've been made, put our mindset is already being formed into ruling the next world to come. How we going to do it? What's the way we going to do it? By what law? So on and so forth. We've been formed to do these things, to practice what we preach now. So when we get in the chariot, right, with Yahweh Shai, it won't have to be so this how we, no, I'm sure it's going to be this how we go do things. Right, a blueprint, a refresher, but it won't be a surprise, or, a brother won't be, feeling out of place because he don't know what's going on. No, we all gonna know what's going on at that time, because the ordering of the kingdom, the government is being established now. Let's get that real quick, and I'm gonna get two supporting precepts that come to mind, and I end it. But it's Isaiah chapter 9, and we'll get straight to the point in verse 6. It says, "For unto us a child is born," and this child is talking about Yahweh Shai. It says, "And unto us a son is given, and the government," right? The government, which that's the 144,000, which the order of the kingdom of heaven, in terms of today, Yahweh Shai will be the president, King David will be the vice president, and the rest of the 143,999 after King David will be the governing body. You see, we'll be the governing body. So that's the government. It says, "For unto us," Isaiah 9:6, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder." And this to show is Yahweh Shai 144,000 right here, because it paint a picture in Revelation, the 14th chapter, how it says on Mount Zion. Right now we know Mount Zion, that's the whole nation of Israel, Mount Zion. But when they paint the picture in Revelation 14, it says, "On top of Mount Zion, I seen a lamb, and with him 144,000. So on top of Mount Zion, and like it said in Micah, I believe it's the 4th chapter, it says the tower of the flock. Yeah, we know the Lord's flock is the nation of Israel, Mount Zion, but the tower of the flock, the governing body, those who on top of Mount Zion with Yahweh Shai, are the 144,000 prophets. Come on, man. But let's read it. It says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. This is the point. Verse 7. And of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it. That's it. To order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Now we know this literally going to be set up in the earth when Yahweh Shai come back and save his men and he crown his men and we come down, you know, and we going to set up the throne of David right here on earth, and we going to establish it and order everybody to get under the order. But the point is, the ordering of the government, that ain't just going to start in the chariot. That's being prepared right now as we speak. The Lord bringing his men, his governing body right now together as we speak. You know how, like in this world, when you get, you get put into the, you're the president and you got your vice president, but then you got to go around and picking and choosing your cabinet. And so it's people coming in, working with each other who ain't familiar with each other. They might not have the same beliefs, right? They might believe in different gods or whatever it may be, but you in the same, government, so to speak. In the same cabinet. That's not how it's going to happen for us. Now, all of us not in the same city or state, but we familiar with the apostles, the elders, the brothers, certain, brothers who might not be in Great Millstone, like men of valor, right? Brothers, we travel to different Great Millstone camps, so we familiar with brothers who we doing this work with. And we all believe in the same thing. So once we get in the chariot with Yahweh Shai, it ain't going to be no, unfamiliarity. No, we all gonna be very familiar with each other, and we just gonna continue. That's the point. See, we just gonna continue forever what we starting to do right now on earth in captivity. The Lord have begun his government coming together right now as we speak. Matter of fact, I got a quick precept. This Malachi 3. I got a real quick one. This Malachi 3 and verse. Is it Malachi 3? Let me see. Malachi. Yep. This Malachi 3, and I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. That's what's happening now. Those who truly serve Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, it ain't just speaking often to another by, daily pushing out the lessons. But again, we have become acquainted with each other, not that we have to be in the same city or state as other brothers or other camps, but just from watching brothers' lessons and, all traveling and meet different brothers. We all on the same page. We have become acquainted. Then you do get brothers' numbers and you do keep a relationship. So it says, Malachi 3:16, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. And the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and that thought upon his name. That's now. That is happening now. According to Baruch 2, now the time we remembering ourselves was going to remember the Lord and think upon his name. And it's the same time we speaking often one to another. And just to show the governing body, they ain't just go, Yahweh Shai ain't just go choose his cabinet in a chariot. We in a chariot and we no, it's going to be established and set. Now, we don't know it now, but when we end up, we gonna know exactly what's going on, man. The point is he's bringing us together now. That's starting now. Let me read this one. It says, and they shall be mine. Verse 17, saith Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels. In the day when he start gathering his elect. But before he start gathering them, guess what? They was already speaking one to another. That's happening now. It's being ordered right now, man. Yahweh Shai gonna know exactly who he picked in the chariot, and those who in the chariot gonna know exactly what's going on. Nobody gonna be surprised asking, well, who that is in the middle, that tall man? Who that is? And you gotta tell him, man, be quiet, man, that's the Lord. Oh, okay. Ain't gonna be none of that. Everybody gonna know why we in the chariot, what it took to get there, and the whole plan from the beginning. We go at that time we gonna understand. Even at this time, we're understanding that if we was those in the beginning with the Lord, and Salak, if I'm speaking fast, I'm just a little excited. But we already understanding now that if we was those who was with Yahweh Shai in the beginning, we just had to come down just like him through many different incarnations. Now we understand it's the last one in Babylon the Great. We're going to prophesy, and then we all going to be back together with him like it was in the beginning. But we ain't going to stay in the heavens this time. Now all of us, including Yahweh Shai, we going to come down on earth and rule. We get that now. In America, as we speak in 2025, we understand that right now, man. So if we, Lord willing, when we get in that chair, we go very well understand what's going on. The point is, it's starting now, like we doing this now. The kingdom of heaven is being built and established, the foundations of it now, man. Come on. It says, let's read them two together. Malachi 3:16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. And Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith Yahweh of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son. But let me get this in Luke real quick, because one would say, well, the kingdom of heaven, how could it be built now when America's still here? Esau still ruling. I don't see no palaces, no streets paved with gold. But again, the foundation of it is being started now. In order for that to come, this have to happen first. The government have to be brought together first, before, in understanding, our roles, our lots, what it take to rule, how to be proper judges. That's the practice we having right now in this grace period. You see, before we actually start the rule. But how would it, now, of course, the Lord could do anything, but just for the sake of making the story exciting, the Lord could have just took us and made us perfect, but we are practicing now. You see? But let's get this in Luke just to show even Yahweh Shai said the kingdom ain't gonna come by observation. It's in us. So if we coming together as Israelites and Lord willing of the elect, guess what? That's the kingdom coming together. And then I ended off on Daniel, the 2nd chapter, how it says, when Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of all the heathen empires that was going to rule leading up to Yahweh Shai and the Israelites ruling. Now, it says in the feet and the toes, and we'll get it, Lord willing, a few, in the feet and the toes, which that's the time we're in now, America, NATO, and the EU. In the feet and the toes, it says, in that time will the Most High begin to set up his kingdom. The point is, we're in the feet and the toes now, and we don't see no kingdom setting up. But how is that happening? By the prophets, first and foremost, coming together, and by the believers, man. But the governing body is being set up that's going to run the kingdom of heaven right now, as the feet and the toes, Esau, America, and NATO and the EU, these heathens are ruling. The Lord is setting up his kingdom now in their face, and they don't even see it. They don't even know it because they think it's just niggas and Mexicans. Let's get this real quick. This is Luke 17 and verse 20. And when he is talking about Yahweh Shai, and when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of heaven should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation. So neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. So the kingdom may go come floating down from the heavens, and palaces falling. It ain't gonna happen like that. So that also, side note, in Revelation 21, when it says New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from the Most High, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, that can't be talking about a literal building. That shows is talking about the elect coming down out the chariots, man. And they refer to as New Jerusalem. So we are people before a place. So in truth, the kingdom of heaven is being established right now as we speak. Now, it ain't how General Yohana said, like, we going to build the kingdom right here in Esau kingdom. No, he talking about something physical. We talking about something spiritual that's going to lead to the physical. When Yahweh Shai comes set up the physical, right? With the ones who practicing being kings and judges now. But it says, Luke 17 and 20, let's read it from the top again. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of the Most High should come, He answered them and said, the kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. You see, let's get Daniel 2 real quick. That is Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Now, I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I'm just going to hit the part when Daniel explaining the dream. And I want to start at the top with the head, because going through the point that once we get to the feet and the toes, it should be well understood what time period that the feet and the toes in. And the point I want to make is that as we're in the feet and the toes, that's when the Lord said, I'm going to begin to set up my kingdom. And we in the feet and the toes. This is it's Daniel chapter 2 and verse 31. This is the interpretation. It says, thou, this Daniel speaking to Nebuchadnezzar, he says, thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, right? And that was Nebuchadnezzar, the head of gold. And, well, not just Nebuchadnezzar, but the Assyrio-Babylonian Empire, mainly Babylon, right? With Nebuchadnezzar, that was the head of gold. It says his breast and his arms of silver. That was the Medo-Persian Empire. His belly and his thighs of brass. That was the Greek Empire. His legs of iron. Now think about where we at on the statue, the legs of iron. Now, that's the Roman Empire. This was just a little over 2,000 years ago. So Yahushua, the apostles, the disciples, right? John the Baptist, they was in the legs of iron. They was in Rome. Now, if that was a little over 2,000 years ago, what could we be on this statue? And this is my go-to, talking to a Christian or whatever, when we won't get straight to the point. Let's go to prophetic scriptures. Where are we on this statue of Yahweh? If the one they called Jesus was in the legs of iron, and that was over 2,000 years ago, where is the only place that we could be? In the feet and the toes. Let's keep reading. Verse 33, Daniel 2. His legs of iron and his feet part of iron. And I like to make this point. Why is it part of iron? Because that Roman Empire, that was iron, was revised and it came back a little bit. It seeped into the feet and the toes by way of America, NATO, and the EU. Mainly America, though. That's that revised. That's who brought that beast back, that ancient dragon back, America. You see? And it had the help of the, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the European Union, the EU. But that's where we at right now. Again, if our Lord and the apostles were just in the legs of iron, where is the only place on this body that we could be in 2025 AD, 2,000 some years later? We in the feet and the toes. So it says his legs of iron, his feet, part of iron and part of clay. And thou sawest until, so you was looking at this statue, Nebuchadnezzar, until thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were part of iron and part of clay, and break them to pieces. And you was looking at the statue until you seen a stone come out of nowhere and hit the feet. Now this stone is Yahushua coming back. Like it says in 2 Esdras 13, that mountain cut out without hands, that chariot. This Yahushua coming back. Now, why the stone hit the feet and the toes? Why didn't it hit the head? Why didn't it hit the shoulder of silver? Because Yahushua, he ain't come back in those times. Yeah, he was there in the feet, but he ain't come back with that impact of a stone, because he gonna come back with vengeance in our time in the feet and the toes 2,000 years later, man. Or should I say the third day? You know? Now, check this out. Watch what it's about to say. I'm going to jump down because it's about to go into the feet and the toes. It says, verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron, right, that Roman power, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Now check this out. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. Now it's going into this current system we see. Even you see that these nations can't get along, right? That's why you have, for example, Britain when it exited the EU, right? Brexit, as they called it. so on and so forth. Right? Trump coming in, talking this shit to those his allies. So they ain't getting along right now. And that's where we at. Now, the point is, as we in this system that we currently living in, live and direct, watch what it's about to say concerning the kingdom of heaven, which shows us coming together as believers. This is the beginning of the kingdom being built, man. It says, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And this is the point, verse 44. And in the days of these kings, meaning what? In the days of what kings? In the days of America, in the days of NATO, in the days of EU, in the days of Esau, and these heathens at their last rule, the time we living in right now, it says, in the days of these kings shall the Most High God of heaven set up a kingdom. Right? And that's what we saying. And as these kings still ruling, because it said in the days of these kings, as they still ruling, the Lord is beginning to form his government. Going back to Isaiah 9, the government is beginning to form as these people just see niggas and Mexicans, right, on the highways and hedges and Native Americans and what they dresses. No, that's your next rulers that's being formed in front of you, man. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Psalms 50. That's the next rulers that's being formed in front of these people, and they don't see that. We see it. This Psalms 50 and 21. Woo, this is spirit, because it goes back into that word order. Now, in Psalms 50, it goes into, where we use it, just, Esau ruling, and that's the Lord about to expose him. Because Esau thought he had us down. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 20. This is Psalms chapter 50 and 20 says, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother and slanderest thy own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. Going into Esau, how the Heavenly Father having judged this man. He let him get power in the earth, ruling, dropping bombs, and about to put sea hips in people. And Esau, since nothing happened to him, he thought he was good. He thought he escaped judgment. Or the law was on his side. Or his AI thought his AI was more powerful than the Most High. But watch what the Most High gonna say. As Esau ruling, it says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee. And how is he reproving them? By his prophets. It says, and set them. Who is the them? Those same ones who reproving them, the prophets. It says, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Come on, man. That's a Selah moment right there. When Esau is being reproved, the wicked is being reproved, the Lord said, I'm going to set them in order before your eyes. So the governing body of the kingdom of heaven is being set up right now as we speak in front of these people's eyes, but they don't see that, though. They just see their co-workers and niggas, and bums get a job. Even these other people in these other camps, they don't actually see these Yahweh Shai men. These the men right here. We see that though, man. And see, that's what we understand before all that even take place. Before we even have to get on the chariot and get our spirits changed by Yahweh Shai, he already gave us the spirit to understand his will, the story that's going on. Some people just come into this thing and they just found out they're Israelite and Friday to Saturday, Sabbaths and the Passover and Lamb. You see? They don't get like the whole story. I don't know how they explain it. They don't see the whole vision of what the Lord, like got planned, what we doing here. What's the point of this? Especially if they're a prophet. Like, what's happening? Like, if we was those in the beginning, he's bringing all us back now to finally rule as we had that godship in the beginning, but we done with captivity. We learned our lesson. Now we're going to take that godship that we had in the beginning and we're going to come in earth and establish that in the earth. You see? That's what's going on, man. It says, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So we've been set in order as the governing body of Yahweh Shai. So when he come back, he gonna just gather a orderly arrangement. An orderly arrangement. And you know what else? Let me get this real quick. What else sure is gonna be order? He gonna know he gonna gather specific order at that time. This 1 Corinthians 15. This 1 Corinthians 15 and verse straight to the point. Verse 23. Nope. Verse 22, it says, for as in Adam all die, Even so in Mashiach shall all be made alive. Check this out. But every man in his own order. And it's going into getting saved. Just to show you, Yahweh Shai is setting this. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is setting the governing body on earth right now. So the brothers in our camp, the elders, guess what? They are part of the Lord government. Now, we don't know what number we are. I'm 127,000 out of 144. Brother, which one you is? I'm 19 out of 144,000. Which one you is? I'm 141,000 out of... No, we don't know that. But the point is, we are being gathered. Matter of fact, the Elder Yashawamba and Apostle Rakad did a lesson yesterday going into a lot of the 144,000 are already in the heavens. We don't know how many on earth right now. The point is being gathered, and whoever going to be gathered from the earth going to link up with those who already going to be in the chariot, man. The point is the Lord know who he come and get. He know who the governing body going to be. It's just that before that happen, he's bringing us together right now by the preaching of the word, by starting camps and being in camps and fellowshipping. Everything we doing now, we going to do all this forever except go to camp and do lessons. We ain't going to have to do that no more. But the fellowships, the speaking of the Lord, how we do when we get together and all that, we going to do all this forever. We just start now. That's it. 1 Corinthians 15:24. Then cometh the end. Slacken. It says 1 Corinthians 15:23. But every man in his own order. Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, you're the first one. It says, and the first fruits, that's the 144,000. And afterward, they that are Mashiachs at his coming, that's the 1/3. Those who believe on Yahweh Shai through the prophet's word. As the Lord said in the book of John. It says, and then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule, all power, and all authority. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet, man. So you see, he's come and gather people that already gonna have an order to him before he get here. Why? Because he's setting in order right now as we speak, man. But I'm gonna end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Chakwadash, and with that, Shalom.